Hey guys, welcome again to my channel. So, I know it has been a very long time though, but I'm here with this news concerning Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. I mean, their friendship has collapsed. I was going to say is collapsing, but then I don't think there's a save here. Let's watch this video and tell me what you think about it. She Taylor have found out everything. Oh, my babe, my friend has been using me and this and this and that and that and that. um let's see it in the video. Tell me what you think about it, guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more updates. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it. It's gonna be hot, so yeah, grab your tea.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your fucking seats. This is not a drill. The It Never Ends saga is seemingly now coming to an end, and it ends with Taylor fucking Swift. I'm going to start by going over Taylor Swift's entire involvement of this case because I feel for the most part everyone has missed the true impact that she has had, particularly in contributing to the most shocking twist of the entire saga, which is that Blake Lively just today has officially abandoned the original foundation of her lawsuit, which was the severe emotional and psychological trauma she experienced as a result of the sexual harassment and the smear campaign. She is now removing it. So I created a timeline for you guys of the top 10 most important events that happened between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, because when you can visually see the downfall of their friendship, we can see how this mirrors the unraveling of the legal drama, which is sort of overlaid on top of all of these private interactions that have been happening. So I took the liberty of color coding it for you guys. The green represents the friendship phase between Blake and Taylor. The yellow represents when things started going awry, the turning point, and the red represents the official fallout, which has now contributed to the absolute demise of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So grab a bag of popcorn, you are not going to want to miss this. Okay, so I promise I will get to the more recent revelations, but first we have to go back in time to when Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were still friends, and we will start with the infamous penthouse meeting in the summer of 2023. That is Blake Lively, that is her actual penthouse. It looks honestly pretty disgusting and like it smells bad. Blake Lively invited Justin Baldoni over for a dinner meeting in which they would go over his creative contributions to the film and the input that she wanted to have. So Blake Lively intentionally invited Taylor Swift over at the exact same time in order to flex on Justin Baldoni and subtly coerce him in a way with the subtext being, I'm a somebody, you're a nobody, and you're going to do exactly what I want. Taylor Swift didn't initially understand that Blake Lively was actually weaponizing their friendship and using her as a prop to get what she wanted from people behind the scenes, but then later was able to contextualize this because we have reports saying that Taylor Swift had no idea Justin Baldoni was still going to be there and was completely caught off guard. This then brings us to the fall of 2023, in which Blake Lively sent her infamous Khaleesi message to Justin Baldoni, calling herself the mother of dragons, and the dragon in question being Taylor Swift. This text was obviously sent privately and was not made public until much later when it was weaponized in the legal filing by Baldoni, and this was also likely when Taylor Swift realized that Blake Lively was actually weaponizing and using her as a prop to bully and intimidate people behind the scenes, which is something that I can imagine she's probably very sensitive to as being one of the most famous people in the world. This then brings us to August 9th, 2024, the day that the film It Ends With Us was unfortunately released to the public. And when I say released, I mean like in the way that coronavirus was released. Nobody wanted this. So the reason this is so significant is because at this point in time, Blake and Taylor were still friends. I think some people have misunderstood and thought that Blake was texting Taylor saying, oh my gosh, I hate Justin Baldoni. This set is such a disaster. That is not true. Blake Lively has said publicly that the film did not have a huge budget, and to license a song like My Tears Ricochet from Taylor Swift would have been very expensive, but they got a very good deal because she was able to call in a favor from her best friend. Do you honestly think that Blake Lively was calling Taylor Swift saying, oh, this set is such a shit show and Justin Baldoni is sexually harassing me, and I think I'm actually going to file a lawsuit that's going to create one of the biggest legal dramas of the 21st century, and you're probably going to get dragged into it as well, so can we have your song? Taylor would have said, no thank you, goodbye. So in my opinion, it is very clear to me that everything that Blake Lively shared to Taylor Swift was nothing but positive in regard to Justin Baldoni, in regard to what happened on set, in regard to what kind of impact this film could have for women. She said everything that she needed to say in order to obtain the legal rights of the song, which is ultimately what Blake Lively wanted. This is likely why Taylor Swift later on was completely silent, because she was sidelined by these public accusations, because if we're assuming everything that Blake had said later on was true and that she was sexually harassed, well, Blake Lively had completely misrepresented this to Taylor for the purpose of obtaining the rights to the song, and Taylor Swift likely felt manipulated and lied to and didn't know what to believe. And I think that it's just so significant that Taylor Swift never said anything publicly when she has a record of standing up for women. Her not standing up for someone who was probably her most public best friend that was apparently sexually harassed is a very significant decision and absolutely not a neutral choice. It is a very strong choice that she made. This then takes us to October 11th of 2024, where Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds are all seen going to dinner together in New York City. Their friendship is intact. They're going on a double date. They're enjoying each other's company, I'm sure. Little did they know what would come only months later. This then takes us to November of 2024, when Blake Lively allegedly asked Taylor Swift to delete their text messages. And the reason that we know know this is because Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, later had a conversation with Taylor Swift's father where he said 4 or 5 months previously, Blake actually asked her to delete their text messages. Remember that scene in A Simple Favor when she's like, delete it? That's basically what she did. You might be asking, what could have been in these texts that Blake Lively wanted them deleted? Well, it's what I just told you. It's that the text messages represented a very different reality of what happened on set. Likely that everything on set was uplifting, that they were supportive of women, that Blake Lively had autonomy and authorship and creative control, and that it was a beautiful, meaningful, safe project that her best friend Taylor Swift could safely put her name behind as one of the most famous people in the world, and that she didn't have to worry about a thing, and that she could be proud that her song was going to be used for this incredible film that was definitely not going to become an absolute legal disaster later on down the road. This then brings us to February 9th, 2025, when Taylor Swift decided to attend the Super Bowl without Blake Lively, which was a clear public display that she was distancing herself and not getting involved. Now, this is when shit really started to hit the fan. So only 2 days after Blake Lively was likely sitting at home crying because she was disinvited from the Super Bowl, she's spiraling and she enlisted this little shit, her lawyer, Michael Gottlieb, to call Taylor Swift's lawyer, where he allegedly said, hey there, we would love for you to publicly support Blake Lively, and just side note, if you don't, 10 years worth of your text messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift may or may not be released to the public. Taylor Swift's lawyer was very upset by this. He hung up the call and actually sent a written confirmation of the fact to Michael Gottlieb, essentially saying, I just interpreted what you did as an act of extortion and I do not appreciate it. Now, as you can imagine, Taylor Swift likely did not appreciate being threatened, and only 3 days later, her dad, Scott Swift, actually contacted Brian Friedman, who is Justin Baldoni's lawyer, and told him of the fact that Blake Lively had attempted to get Taylor to delete their text messages, and that Blake Lively had attempted to extort Taylor into publicly supporting her. Shortly after, on April 28th, Travis Kelce, who is Taylor Swift's boyfriend, unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram, which is a quiet but unmistakable sign, really, that you are officially dead to her. It's likely that Taylor Swift would have unfollowed them herself, but that would have been way too big of a deal, so she used her boyfriend to notify the couple that Mr. and Mrs. Lively are now Mr. and Mrs. Dead. Later, on May 8th, Taylor Swift was officially subpoenaed, but it was very quickly withdrawn about a week later, likely because Brian Friedman was already in contact with Taylor Swift's entire team, and they were able to quietly strike a deal that allowed Brian to obtain the materials that he needed without formally dragging Taylor Swift into this lawsuit. In other words, Taylor Swift quietly gave up the dirt that she had on Blake Lively in order to save herself from any bad publicity, which is exactly what she should have done. This now brings us to present day. So Blake Lively was asked to sign a HIPAA privacy release so that Baldoni's team could access the medical records that she has pertaining to the mental anguish that she suffered. She completely refused. And then after Baldoni's team attempted to compel her to reveal the medical records, Lively's team came back and actually said, you know what, we changed our mind. We are withdrawing the claims of emotional distress completely. Based on these most recent filings, it is very clear to me that Blake Lively is giving up. We have reports that she's blowing up Taylor's phone, but Taylor is ignoring her. Blake Lively is likely terrified of the information that Taylor could have shared with Brian Friedman. And speaking of Brian Friedman, Taylor Swift's old lawyer has actually just now officially joined his law firm and is specifically working on the Baldoni case. Mark my words, this is the beginning of the end, and it's all thanks to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so guys, in my own opinion, I think Taylor really tried everything since she was just used as, a means of intimidating people. I mean, she's a public figure that so many people looks up to, so many people like, and then someone is using her without her own knowledge, intimidating. I think she really endured a lot, and yeah, she has done the right thing. But guys, Blake Blake and emotional claims. Now she's like, oh, I'm fine. I never suffered anything. And okay, I'm not. I don't longer want to talk about this. And then everything is just crazy. Don't you think so? Please, guys, tell me what you think about this. Well, let's check what people have said about this video. Let's get into it. So here, this person said Blake Lively is going to become a mommy vlogger and use her kids or start a cooking show on a farm. Mark my words. I see what this person did there. Be Better said mark my words at the end of the speech, and he said mark my words. So yeah, but it is not so funny as it may seem. She's just, I wouldn't say cunning. She's not straightforward. But let's see another. The irony that she called herself Mother of Dragons, but forgot Khaleesi dies at the end and never gets to the throne. Lord. Yeah, and my own emphasis on this Mother of Dragon, like Mother of Dragon, and she's so proud of it, like everybody's a dragon, and referred her own friend to as a dragon. I mean, if anybody referred me to her, in fact, as little as a rat, I feel so bad, and then like, don't do that anymore. And you called your friend a dragon? No, that's unacceptable. Khaleesi dies and never got to the throne. I mean, after everything, she's not gonna get what she wanted because That's so cruel. It's not gonna happen. She had better found something else to do with her time and her energy. So yeah, guys, that's the end for this episode. Please, I implore thee, I pray thee, please try to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Please, I need to grow. Please, for more updates too. And yeah, see you later. Bye.